Bring in show music, please.
Hi, I'm CNBC producer Katie Kramer. Today on Squawk Pod. The holiday season in full swing. We made it through Turkey Day, and Arthur Brooks, host of the How to Build a Happy Life podcast, says that's a good start.
Thanksgiving is the best psychology that we could possibly imagine. The reason is because we're being asked to be grateful, not to be cheerful.
And that we can make happier choices.
We're all a bunch of addicts right now. We're all a bunch of addicts to bad news and to resentment and to anger, and we can put it down.
A big change made at Intel, where CEO Pat Gelsinger is retiring, effective yesterday.
This sounds like a big shift in where this company's going to be headed.
And shopping via social with Amber Venz Box, creator and founder of platform LTK, the big business of buying through who you follow.
Over the last decade has become culturally normative. The vast majority of the population now notes that they do shop actively from creators.
Plus, the box office feeling grateful after Thanksgiving weekend, arrogance ending an EV CEO's term, and President Biden pardons his own son.
This is going to bring questions after questions after questions.
I've seen the right and the left mad.
A lot of news this Monday, December 2nd, 2024. Squawk Pod begins right now.
Stand Becky by in 3, 2, 1. Cue it, please.
Good Monday morning, everybody, and welcome to Squawk Box right here on CNBC. We're live from the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. I'm Becky Quick along with Joe Kernen. Andrew is out today. The Dow and the S&P 500 both closed November trading at a record high. In fact, for the month of November, the Dow was up by 7.5%. The S&P was up by 5.7%, and the NASDAQ was up by 6.2%. The best month for stocks for the year. Let's take a look at Treasury yields this morning. You'll see that at least at this point, it looks like the 10-year is yielding, drum roll please, 4.21. Okay, the 2-year is just below that at 4.19. And then you've got Bitcoin. At this point, it looks like Bitcoin is 95,000, just above that. So it's down by about 2%. But again, year to date, up by close to 125%.
And shares of automaker Stellantis are sharply lower. CEO Carlos Tavares resigned from the company amid a decline in profit and slumping sales in North America. Company said a search for a successor by a special board committee is well underway, and Chairman John Elkann will be the interim CEO, will run the company until a replacement is found. This guy was supposed to stay till 2026. He oversaw the combination of Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot to create Stellantis in 2021. The company generated record profits post-pandemic for a little while, $19.7 billion in 2023. Bonuses from that performance helped make Tavares one of the highest-paid executives in the industry, but profits have fallen this year. I think as much as 50%. They kept sales way too high for the cars they were selling. Sales dropped 20%. Or more in the U.S. There's another big piece right next to it in the Journal about just for EV startups and EVs in general. Things getting worse for EV startups. Even the good ones like Rivian and Lucid are down 50%, the shares this year, and some of the others have already filed, like Fisker and others. So
well, we talked last week about how the Biden administration was trying to get some payments and some loans made to these companies out the door before the Trump administration comes in, because they're very likely not going to be looking at things the same way.
I saw a great piece. I don't know which media publication it was, but automakers are begging the Trump administration to require the shift to EVs. That's what they're going to need.
Well,
probably. Because it's the only way you can. You're not going to get people to pay a lot more for EVs based on where ICE, internal combustion engine cars are. So the only way you're going to be able to do it is if the government requires you to do it.
I can't imagine the government requiring
Not under
that.
Trump.
I have a hard time even thinking they'll have the same standards that are required for the fleets that they come through with some of these things, too. You get automakers say, look, we've been set up, these rules have been in place. It varies from administration to administration, but if they don't have the federal subsidies, I can't imagine they're going to sell nearly the number of them.
This guy at Stellantis said that he admits he was very arrogant in terms of keeping prices high. We said he was.
It became obvious to anybody who was watching.
We said he was one of the one of the highest paid, got a big bonus. That might breed some arrogance. We didn't actually say, do we know exactly how much it was, Evans? I didn't look, but we can find out, but I'm sure he doesn't have to, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. President Biden issuing a full and unconditional pardon of his son, Hunter, after repeatedly insisting that he would not do so. Hunter Biden was scheduled to be sentenced this month for his conviction on federal gun charges and separately for his guilty plea on federal tax evasion charges. In a statement, the president said, "I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made the decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision."
Yeah, I understand. It goes back to 2014 when he joined the board of Burisma. That might have something to do with it. He made $39.5 million, Tavares did, back in 2023, a $6 million salary and $28.3 million in long-term incentives. That's not as much as a media guy, but not bad.
We said high for the industry.
Yeah, not bad for an automaker.
Back to the story on Hunter Biden's pardon. In a post on Truth Social, President-elect Trump called the pardon, in his words, such an abuse and miscarriage of justice, and brought up the rioters from January 6, 2021, which he has suggested could receive pardons when he takes office. I think if you look at the entire pardon process, it was something that's supposed to have clemency and grace. But it's been abused and abused and abused under just about every administration. You look back and think of Mark Rich with President Clinton, was seen as self-dealing with some of these things.
But those people never said, "I'm never going to do it" 100 times and had their press secretary yelling at people in the press room. The New York Times has more than one edition. Is that it?
I don't know. The Wall Street Journal does. It has 2-star, 3-star edition. I don't know.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, every other paper got it in. It's the cover of the Post, Daily News. I don't think
you think maybe we got an early edition of it?
Maybe, because it's nowhere in the New York Times.
This news wasn't that late last
That's
night.
what I thought, too. I don't know. I tried to find it in the New York Times. I mean, that would never happen with the New York Times, where they wouldn't. But I can't find it. USA Today, it's not on the cover, I don't think. It's the lead story in the Washington Post.
And in the Wall Street Journal.
And the Wall Street Journal. And I don't know. New moves.
Look, it's just this is going to bring questions after questions after questions on what happens with this.
I've seen the right and the left mad. On the left, all of the virtue signaling people that have been trashing Trump just forever, they feel like the rug was pulled out for them. So they can no longer have the high ground.
Right.
They no longer have the wide. So the guy Joe Walsh, I like one Joe Walsh. I like the guy. Yeah, I like the guitar player for the Eagles and James Gang. The other one, I don't know how he got famous, but I think it's another one of these people who made their living just hating Trump. But it's like, this is really bad. You can't really. Our old friend John Harwood, did you see?
Yeah, I think that was something he posted several years ago.
He did. It was vintage Harwood. But we don't want to go there, although we already did. New moves by the incoming Trump administration. Over the weekend, the president-elect will name real estate developer Charles Kushner, father of Trump's son-in-law Jared, as ambassador to France. That's a pretty darn good gig. But you should be wealthy to do that, because the wine, you can't serve like $20 wine.
Yeah, and you have to pay for it yourself.
And
but
you have to pay for it.
This goes back to the pardons.
Especially with Doja, you get. How is this related to the pardon?
Because Trump pardoned Charles Kushner.
Oh, Charles Kushner for he didn't do much, I don't think.
Are you kidding? Did you hear what Chris Christie said about him when he said it was one of the biggest things?
He did something with his brother, hired a hitman?
He hired a prostitute for his brother-in-law, tricked him into doing it, videotaped the whole thing, sent the videotape to his sister to try and convince her to get involved and speak out against him in some trial that was taking place.
I remember out where in New Jersey, there's Kushner names everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, for the real estate. Anyway, during the final month.
And by the way, it was a Republican, Chris Christie, who had prosecuted him for that. He spent some time in prison and then was done, and then the pardon came later to expunge the record.
This editorial is pretty good. I didn't realize it, but Trump apparently didn't want to fire Comey initially because he was so tall. and he thought he really he'd like to cut of his jib because he was for an FBI agent. This is about the action. There's a lot going on. Kash Patel, a lot to talk about. Kind of ruined it for the left, the whole Hunter Biden thing, right? Because they were in full
I think this is
hair on fire mode with Kash Patel, and then he pardons Hunter.
Well, this is
ruined pulled the rug out.
This is where we look and say, hey, this whole nation was supposed to be founded because we didn't want to have our own imperialistic sort of.
We'll have Arthur Brooks on to see if anybody's happy. I thought people were getting happy, a little happier. Trump said he has chosen Kash Patel as his FBI director. Patel has called for radical changes at the Bureau, including reducing its footprint and limiting its authority. Current FBI Director Christopher Wray is in year 7, and it's a 10-year term. He will resign or be fired. I think he said he'd resign if his successor were confirmed, but he's going to wait until that point.
Now let's get to the box office. Disney's Moana 2 brought in $221 million over the 5-day holiday period, smashing expectations of around just $100 million. It is the highest Thanksgiving weekend performance of any film ever. Universal's Wicked continues to soar as well, bringing in more than $117 million over that holiday period. It is now the highest grossing Broadway adaptation of all time. And then you've got Gladiator 2. That brought in $44 million over that 5-day period. Overall, moviegoers spent an estimated $420 million at North American box offices, making it the biggest Thanksgiving weekend ever at the movies.
Did you see Wicked yet?
No. I did see Gladiator 2, or part of it. I had to leave in the middle.
You did. I got a pass yesterday. Other people went that I know.
Oh, you got a pass and didn't have to go?
I didn't have to. If it's a 4 o'clock movie on a Sunday, or a 3 o'clock movie, I'm not going to.
Because you got to go to bed.
I'm not.
It's getting close to bedtime.
No, NFL. I was up. I was actually watching the game last night in the snow.
Which game?
I mean,
I'm thinking
Andrew not knowing.
I'm thinking Ohio State. I'm thinking Ohio State, Michigan. If you saw what happened after the game, which was also in the
Saturday,
snow, which was also in the snow.
Oh, that was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the college games are on Saturday, and then the NFL games are on.
I do know.
Did Rutgers finally pull it out? They were winning on Saturday for a while.
They did win. Well, but they lost the basketball game that was playing at the same time. But they did win the football game.
It was Brock Purdy came back, but they lost, and I think Buffalo. Versus, I think they know how to play.
I saw they had to dig the stadium.
I think they know how to play better in snow in Buffalo. They're used to it. I'm told that apparently you can now get some of these newspapers online, is what I've just been informed. And that
is this your Boomer report?
Yep. The Hunter Biden pardon story is on the front page, right at the top of the NewYorkTimes.com. But it's hard to believe that they couldn't get this.
Felt like it was early.
Because it seemed like it was kind of early, but it's not anywhere here. But it is front and center. So you got to hand it to them. It's front and center on the. No, I didn't go to bed till like 9 o'clock.
What?
I went to bed at 9 o'clock, and I actually got in here.
How are you?
I got in here earlier than Andrew, which is what you did today.
Do you know why?
I have no idea.
Kaylee was up, caught me trying to leave this morning, and it was an issue.
You were busted.
It was an issue. I did not get out the door.
I actually had to go to the airport first thing already.
Before you came here?
Yes.
That's impressive.
2 people.
No, I got caught and dragged back in because of a bad night's sleep from somebody.
Oh my God.
So I made it, but barely.
You did, but you look fine. You look better than I look.
Well, that's thanks to the hair and makeup room. We appreciate that.
Tease will be next.
Coming up on Squawk Pod, we don't have to be so miserable. Happiness expert and Professor Arthur Brooks on balancing healthier emotions.
We're evolved to actually have more negative emotions than positive emotions. That's what kept you alive 250,000 years ago, was negative emotions.
This is Squawk Pod.
And you're watching Squawk Box right here on CNBC. I'm Becky Quick along with Joe Kernen. Andrew is off this morning.
As we wind down 2024, our next guest has some tips to maximize happiness through the holidays and into 2025. Joining us now is Arthur Brooks, American Enterprise Institute President Emeritus. He is a columnist for The Atlantic, a podcast host, and an author of Build the Life You Want, author of The Road to Serfdom, author of a lot of great great books.
Thanks, Joe.
Some of which I've read. You're welcome. The holidays, and I agree with you. Thanksgiving is we do need to sit back and look around and say, wow, we really have it made. When you get past shelter and food and clothing and worrying about survival, that's when we seem to run into trouble and get bogged down in things. But I'll just say that the holiday, and I'm ecstatically happy for a lot of reasons, but the holidays around Christmas can be difficult for people. I'm really not sure why. Loneliness, maybe. And
well, a lot of people have real trouble, with their family situation, for example. And when you're being forced to be as cheerful as you can possibly be, it sometimes actually provokes the opposite reaction in people. That's one of the reasons that it's Thanksgiving that's the most popular holiday of the year.
It is.
Thanksgiving
not the dessert?
Yeah. Thanksgiving is the best psychology that we could possibly imagine. The reason is because we're being asked to be grateful, not to be cheerful, but rather to be grateful. The human brain processes resentment very efficiently and gratitude very poorly, because we're evolved to actually have more negative emotions than positive emotions. That's what kept you alive 250,000 years ago, was negative emotions, like something's going to hurt me or kill me. I should be angry.
Fight or flight, yeah.
Exactly right. But if you manually actually focus on the more appropriate emotion, which, God bless America. I mean, look at all the abundance that we have and the security that we have. Can we be focused on the election? We can be focused on anything we're resentful about. But the truth of the matter is that gratitude is reality. And on Thanksgiving, people are being asked to be grateful, and that refocuses themselves. And we can actually do that almost every day. From now until the end of the year, our viewers could actually put together gratitude lists they look at once a week, or that they update once a week and look at every day. And by the end of the year, they will be between 10 and 20% happier than they are right now.
It's a big part of addiction, too. They teach gratitude to go back into that, too.
Absolutely. And the reason is because you want to be working in the parts of your brain that are focusing you on the things that you have as opposed to the things that you don't have. Mm-hmm. Addiction is all about the things that you don't have and you're trying to fill a hollowness. Gratitude is about the things that you have for which you're feeling positive about those particular things. Your family members, for example. This is one of the reasons that to get out of addiction, you need more love relationships for which you're actually grateful, and be paying attention to those things. Look, we're all a bunch of addicts right now. We're all a bunch of addicts to bad news and to resentment and to anger, and we can put it down. We can just voluntarily put it down, but we have to pick something else up, and that's the love in our life.
I don't even know if we want to go into it anymore about certain relatives not being welcome, and I've read articles where I'm never talking to either my mother or my father or my neighbor, or I'm never going to speak to them. To me, it's tiresome and almost juvenile.
It's very sad, and the problem when you hate for whatever particular reason. I'm not speaking to somebody because of the way they voted in the election. You've become the product. There are people who actually want you to be conscripted into their culture war because it's extremely profitable for viewers in certain shows, for social media followers, for money, straight up money. And so don't be the product. Don't refuse to be used. Stand up to the man, like they used to say in the 1960s, and then we can actually be free. Then focus on the things that actually matter in our lives. Look, this could be the Squawk Box challenge, man. I mean, more gratitude from now to the end of the year. What are you grateful for, Joe?
I can't think of anything I'm not grateful for. My health, my family. I was going to say my hair, but I don't want to. I'm not going to say
okay.
that.
You're killing me,
is that our? I mean, if you've got a loving family and your health, what else?
You have a job you enjoy. You're part of.
Well, let's not get carried away. No, you're right. I do.
This is well, look, we're living in a society that's the freest, most prosperous, upwardly mobile, charitable society in the history of the world. And you're talking about it every single day on Squawk Box about all the incredible things that are going on.
I was going to read you some, and I get a lot of great tweets, obviously, but I was going to read. I can't read you this one. There's too many F words in it.
Coming in right now.
Genitalia. No, I can't. But you are truly a. No, I'm not even going to read it.
Yeah.
Jerk off.
Yeah.
But social media
Yeah, totally. But you know,
does that not? Isn't it put us all on sort of
it can be
steroids?
It depends on the reaction. So you can.
My reaction, I laugh.
I follow you on social media. You're awesome because you're hilarious, right? But here's the right reaction to that guy. Thank you for watching my show. Thank you for watching my show. It's unbelievable.
It's better not to answer at all.
What's that?
It's better not to answer at all.
No, for sure, because you get a pen pal forever. But the whole point is that answering with gratitude, it changes your heart, not just theirs.
How do we put this into business terms? Because there are business leaders who are maybe excited in some areas about potential changes coming, others unnerved because they don't know what it's going to mean for their industry. You know, we've seen some big swings every 4 to 8 years in terms of what rules we lay down. And there are CEOs who are putting billions of dollars to work based on knowing what the plans are going to be.
Yeah, policy uncertainty is the biggest problem that we have in this country. It's not policy, but rather policy uncertainty. And the fact that it's a ping pong ball between the 5% margins of most right wing and most left wing. That's a big problem in this country, for sure. But great CEOs, great business leaders, look, smart people act like entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs know that every challenge is actually an opportunity. Something's going to be coming at you. And if you're a great CEO, you're going to get there first to exploit the opportunities based on even the uncertainty that we've got coming our way. I know a lot of people who are really smart, and when things are weird, they get rich.
From these cabinet appointments, it just seems that President-elect Trump is going to try to promises made, promises kept. He's going to do, I think he's going to try and do that. When you're trying to do even just criminal deportation of illegal immigrants that have committed crimes, even doing that, you know how difficult it's going to be gut-wrenching. And you know that legacy media, there's going to be a story of not just dozens deported, but every single person that's deported. I'm going to know everything about their family. The legacy media is going to be tugging at the heartstrings for every single person, illegal, criminal or not. And we're talking 11 million probably, or even more. How is anyone going to be happy when this is happening?
Yeah, it's like these are hard changes that they're going to have to come that the president is proposing. And my guess is they're going to deport a lot fewer than they're talking about and get a lot more mileage out of deporting dangerous criminals, which is what they've talked about. And so going toe to toe with how the media would portray every really sad story, they can actually have a triumphal story about getting somebody who's dangerous out of our country. But more to the point, I think that
you should I'll let you go. You should give them some advice on that because they need to know how to handle this.
One thing I'm grateful for, I'm grateful to be with the two of you.
No, we're grateful to have you.
And
I always look forward to you.
I come once a month. I look forward to this so much.
We do too.
And I watch the show. And you're doing a great thing for the country. You're doing a great thing for me. Thank you.
Well, we love having you on.
Thank you, Arthur.
Very
appreciate
much.
it a lot.
Appreciate it, Arthur.
Thank you.
Next on Squawk Pod, news out this morning rocking the semiconductor chip space and the multi-billion-dollar industry of social shopping. Amber Venz Box is an influencer and entrepreneur who started a mega platform connecting online creators with shoppers.
They're actually incorporating 100 products a minute into their content, the things that they use and love in their life.
Welcome back. You're listening to Squawk Pod from CNBC. And we had some breaking news this morning about leadership at chipmaker Intel. Luckily, when this news broke during our live broadcast, Joe Kernen and Becky Quick were joined by Steve Kovac, CNBC's technology correspondent.
You get some breaking news? What is it?
Right.
Pat Gelsinger, I think he's retiring immediately.
Oh, wow.
From
Announced
Intel?
retirement of CEO Pat Gelsinger. Frank Yeary named interim executive chair. David Zinsner and Michelle Johnson Holthouse named interim co-CEOs.
They're calling this a retirement.
Yeah, they did. The media announces immediate retirement.
Effective yesterday.
Co-CEOs, Holthouse, Johnson Holthouse, CEO of Intel Products. I don't know what, doesn't say specifically what.
I'm just reading through the release right now, but they do say this is effective yesterday, December 1st. Today's December 2nd.
Yeah. And this was expected too, that he was kind of setting things up, doing some cost cutting and things like that.
Today, though.
Right? No, not this early. No.
Take a look at the stock.
That's
It's
2%.
up by about 2.5%, 60 cents at this point. Year to date, though, that tells the broader story and what's really been happening. Down 50% year to date.
I wonder whether they get more chip money subsidies is that part of it? Get rid of this Gelsinger guy and
Well, this whole
No,
thing
they-
was turning into a foundry business, and that just
Right.
has not taken off. The CHIPS Act money is part of that.
The CHIPS Act money, that got some of it.
Now
There's
it's
been
up
new
4%.
conditions that have been set on this.
I don't know if it was trading earlier. Now it's up 4. Maybe the word's getting out.
Okay, so here is some of the commentary. While we have made significant progress in regaining manufacturing competitiveness and building the capabilities to be a world-class foundry, to your point, Steve, we know that we have much more work to do at the company and are committed to restoring investor confidence. So this could be a shift from just looking at it from being a foundry and setting those things up to getting back to really looking at the nuts and bolts of what they're doing on this. As a board, we know first and foremost that we must put our product group at the center of all we do. So this sounds like a big shift, just in terms of what they'll be doing.
And let's talk about where they are in product. Right now, you have, let's talk about the PC side. You have Qualcomm starting to make PC chips, kind of eat into that market. They're actually really well reviewed. They're more like the Apple chips. And by the way, they lost the Apple business because Apple decided they can make their own chips better and more effective. And then the AI front, they've been trying to, make this story or this case that they can compete with NVIDIA. It's just not happening.
Ultimately returning, this is from the company again, Intel, the statement, ultimately returning to process leadership is central to product leadership, and we will remain focused on that mission while driving greater efficiency and improved profitability. This sounds like a big shift in where this company is going to be headed.
Amazing. Yeah, Intel saying we release this info while Steve Kovac would be on the air. I can't believe
that's amazing they would do that.
They
so
said,
nice of them.
we're watching Squawk, and we figured this would be a good They didn't. People believe anything I say, which is scary. Yeah. They didn't do that, but it was good that you were here to.
Fortuitous timing.
That stock, by the way.
Fortuitous does not mean fortunate.
What does it mean?
Just by chance.
Yeah.
By chance.
By chance, I happen to be here.
It could be really bad, though.
Yeah.
Something horrible could happen to you, and it would be fortuitous.
Well, fortunately, Steve was here.
But serendipitous, on the other hand,
that's always a happy
means
thing.
how fortuitous is misinterpreted. Do you know that, speaking of John Fort, do you know that forte is not, it's actually fort? Forte is a musical term. If you're good at something, it's fort. Yeah. If you're good at something, it's a fort. It's not a forte.
It means strong or strength.
What else can I come up with? Totally useless.
Well, this is a huge stock, 5.5% now, so this is...
It's limitless.
No, it's limitless. Anybody that's seen the show knows that it's limitless. Intel did not say that. But
the co-CEO thing, probably not going to last.
But the products thing is what...
That's super important.
That
means we're going to go back. We're not going to
waste time. What was her name? She's the one taking over that part.
Yeah.
Whatever her name.
They've missed every shift in technology since mobile. They drug their heels on that. They dragged their heels on AI. Here they are.
Okay.
Right now, we want to check in with the creator economy, where live shopping on social media platforms has exploded this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, with creators hosting real-time live streams that let viewers shop deals instantly. This trend is driving billions of dollars in sales as consumers embrace a more interactive way to shop. Joining us right now is Venz Box, LTK co-founder and president. LTK powers much of the success, connecting creators with brands to monetize live shopping and revolutionize the creator economy. And Amber, first of all, welcome. Second of all, let's break down a little bit of what it is that you do. Just so people understand, these live shopping events, I kind of think of it as QVC. Am I right to think of it in that way?
Well, for LTK, we're a three-sided marketplace. So for the creator, we are a place where they retain, nurture, and grow their audience, and they make everything that they publish available to shop, whether that's on their LTK or across their social media or blog or newsletter. For the retailers, we're helping them to reach those creators and make their products available for them. What's unique about LTK, though, which is a little bit different from what you typically see in true live shopping, while we're a large and growing video platform, our creators are actually asset light. So they're not holding inventory. What you're seeing a lot right now on Cyber Monday is actually, on the live shopping side, is actually retailer based. There's an urgency to purchase those products, but they're holding inventory. I know Gary Vee was on last week talking about that. He himself holds inventory. The types of creators that we're talking about are different in that they're actually incorporating 100 products a minute into their content, the things that they use and love in their life.
So it's marketing, what you're really talking about. These are people saying, I use this, it's great, you should use it too, but they're finding a way to send those people immediately to the brands. And maybe it would help if people understand how you came about doing this. You were a blogger back in 2011. You were writing about things you really liked, and then you realized you weren't getting paid for the products that you were convincing people to buy. So this is kind of how you got into this?
Absolutely. I offline had a personal shopping business. And so let's say you need to get dressed for your month of Squawk Box. I would go get everything in your size and in your style that looks great on you. I'd bring it into your home and exchange pieces that didn't work and help you check out. And that was a very manual offline process. I started a website in 2010 to actually bring that business online and to market it. The problem was I wasn't able to bill retailers online for the purchases that I drove. And so my then boyfriend, now husband, and I created LTK to really modernize that offline shopping business. So today we have hundreds of thousands of creators. Over 1,000 of them are LTK millionaires. They're able to talk about everything they love, whether they're an athlete and they're running in fitness, or they are like me and they love to show kind of their lifestyle, their home, their fashion, their kids, really across all categories. We started in fashion, expanded to beauty and home, and now everything from grocery. You can talk about your favorite keto bars to designer handbags. Everything's made immediately shoppable. You can think of the LTK platform as the first platform that's been purpose-built for a creator to do two jobs. One is to actually reach their audience every day, which is the most important thing about them. And then second is to be able to integrate all of those products that audience sees to make it the most efficient way to shop. That really maximizes the monetization for our creators. So they don't have to have a sales team or wake up every day and pitch a brand. They can just talk about the things that they love and earn a commission by doing that.
What commissions do retailers pay for this? Let's say you convince somebody to buy a sweater. How much does the influencer get for that? How much does LTK get for that?
Yeah, so the influencer might get anywhere from, call it 10 to 20%, depending on the retailer and the category. And then LTK makes money by taking a transaction fee on every transaction. So this year we expect for our shoppers to buy over $5 billion worth of products on the LTK platform. That's just what's happening online. There's so much more even happening with the research that's happening on LTK and then people going into stores. And so it's become a pretty scaled business and something that, over the last decade has become culturally normative. The vast majority of the population now notes that they do shop actively from creators. In the wider population, it's 56% right now buy from creators, and that's a 64% increase just year over year.
But very quickly, again, the transaction fee that you charge, is that more or less than 1%?
You know what? It's going to depend by retailer. So we've negotiated by retailer. The creator, gets their commission that the brand has set aside from them. Then we take a transaction fee, and then on the other side of the business, that's only half the revenue. Our creators are also getting brand deals through the platform. So what's amazing now is that we have the largest proprietary data set in the industry when it comes to creator across all platforms, retailers, brands, price points, and so we now have an AI-powered platform for our brands where they can come in, enter their goals for their campaign. We're finding the right creator at the right price for them. And our creators are being paid a flat fee on that side of the business. And then on the brand side, they're paying either a SaaS fee or a management fee or both. So there's a lot of ways our creators are making money. Our goal is to make them as economically successful as possible. That's always been the case. And they've earned over $3 billion on our platform.
Okay. Amber, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you join us.
And that's Squawk Pod for today, this first Monday in December. Thanks for starting the post-Thanksgiving week with us. Squawk Box is hosted by Joe Kernen, Becky Quick, and Andrew Ross Sorkin. Tune in weekday mornings on CNBC at 6 Eastern, or get the best of our TV show right into your ears anytime when you follow Squawk Pod wherever you get your podcasts. Listen on the go, however, or wherever you want. We'll meet you right back here tomorrow.
We are clear. Thanks, guys.